is Jordan, and today I'm be doing a summer book haul part 2 and slash birthday book haul. Like I said in the previous summer book haul, which I'll link above in the corner somewhere and link down below, I have a big book haul and it's pretty big, and I think I went overboard with all the books that I've bought, but let's get started. The first book that I got is Pacifica by Kristen Simmons. This book's about, there's a lottery going on like 400 or 500 people get to go into this island called Pacifica, and there's this girl who travels the sea with her father and trying to stop those people from getting over there. I'm currently reading it. I'm not that far into it. I'm liking it so far. I'm just going to be taking a little break from it because I'm in a mood for contemporary, but this is a fantasy novel which I'm actually really liking because it involves pirates. Since I've read Daughter of the Pirate King, I've been wanting to read more books about pirates and traveling to sea, and this is a really good read so far, so yeah. The next book that I got is Skye in the Deep by Adrienne Young. It's about this girl who's fighting with all the Vikings. This is one of the Viking stories that came out this year, and then she finds out that her brother, who's supposed to be dead, is fighting with the enemy, and that book grabbed my interest because of the plot. Plus I really love the cover, especially like she has an axe there that looks like a weapon, and since my ancestors were Vikings, since I'm part Norwegian and part Swedish, this story grabbed my interest because of that. And plus I like the underjacket. It says breathe fire, so this story really grabbed my interest because of the plot mostly, but I definitely excited to read this book. The next book I got is another copy of Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. I actually got this from Goodwill, and I was like, I deserve another copy of Peter Pan. I haven't bought myself a copy in a while, plus I'm not sure which it is, a young reader's edition, classics edition, and I'm really liking the drawings that are in here. So I've been wanting to collect more editions of Peter Pan since I'm a big fan, and I'm happy that I got this copy because I only seen it in Goodwill, and yeah, hopefully I'll get more because I'm a big Peter Pan fan. So yeah. The next book that I got is The Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst. All I know is it's an adult fantasy novel about this queen who has different powers and control like elemental stuff. I'm not quite sure, but I've heard good things about it, and I also love reading books that have characters that control different elements, so that grabbed my interest more, so I'm really excited to read this. Plus I've been slowly getting into some adult books, but I'm really picky because YA books are has the most interesting stories in my opinion, but I read some adult books once in a while, so I'm excited to dive on in whenever I can. The next book that I've got, I actually have read this, which is Meddling Kids by Edgar Cantoro. I've actually read this for the Summer Fun Readathon, which I'll link above and down below. I really enjoyed it, but I liked it, but I didn't love it. It's a retelling of Scooby-Doo, and it's about these group of kids. Of course, they're the meddling kids. Like, if you've seen Scooby-Doo, you know that the villains always said, I would have gotten away with it if it weren't those meddling kids and their dumb dog. And it's mostly about the gang reuniting after 13 years of their last mystery case, and one of them actually tragically died, and they try to find out who's the actual killer. So like they solve a mystery of their friend after they haven't seen each other for 13 years. So I'm going to be talking about this more in my wrap-up, but looking for any mystery novels because this will be a perfect fall read. The next book I got is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. I actually have seen the movie, but I never read the books. It's about this man who time travels, but he can't control when he goes, and he meets his wife multiple times in his life, and that's how the story goes. And what I've learned from this book, different chapters tells you like how old he was and how old his wife was. So like here it shows you how old he was and how old she was. I've seen the movie and I liked it, but I've never read the books, and I liked how the concept of the chapters are. Like they tell you how old he was and then how old she was. So, and the movie was really good, and I actually wanted to read the book. I know I might enjoy the movie more, but I appreciate, usually for me, I'm 50-50 when it comes to book to movie adaptations, but I'm excited to read this because I haven't read any romance books in a while. The next book I got is To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. It's about this girl who wrote tons of letters to all the boys she fell in love with before, but then they actually get sent to the guys that she had a crush on. I've heard it's turned into a movie, which I'm like, it looks like, I saw the trailer for it. I thought it was going to be a cute movie, and I'm like, I gotta read the book because I've heard good things about it, and I definitely want to read it before then because it's on Netflix, and I know I wouldn't force my boyfriend to watch it with me, so I technically would watch it without him, but I'm excited to read this because I think it'll be a really cute story. The next one that I got is Poor Unfortunate Soul by Serena Valentino. I think that's the author's name. Yep, I was right. I actually also read this like last month, and I'll link my June wrap-up down below. And this is one of the Disney villains books, and this is about Ursula. Obviously, you can tell by the her face on the cover. I really enjoyed it. Of course, if you guys know me on my channel, I talk about Disney a lot, and I've been a big fan of it. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. And I just loved Beauty and the Beast since I was a kid, or not Beauty and the Beast. I loved Disney as a kid, but I still loved The Little Mermaid. I mean, I loved pretty much all the Disney movies that I've watched like since I was a kid. And yeah, and if you're a Disney fan and you're looking for quick reads, this would be a perfect one for you. The next book that I got is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is a sequel to Caraval. I'm really excited about this book, and it is a sequel to Caraval. Obviously, I just said this twice already. I'm definitely excited to read it, and I'm going to be listening to this on audiobook because I listened to Caraval on audiobooks, and I've heard like in this book you can, this would be in Tella's point of view, which is Scarlet's sister from the previous book, which is the main character, but I'm really excited to read it. Plus, I've been waiting for it to be on audiobook so I can listen to this, but I'm still excited to read it. The book that I got is A Darker Shade of Magic by B.E. Schwab, and from what I can tell from this book, from everybody on BookTube, they said it's like Harry Potter, which grabbed my attention, and I've heard like there's different Londons in this story, and each of them are really different from each other, and then there's of course magic involved, but what attracts me of this book more is because people say it's like Harry Potter, and since I'm a big Harry Potter fan, I want to read more or similar books to Harry Potter, and I'm really excited to read this because I've heard good things about the series. The next book that I got is Beast: A Tale of Love and Revenge by Lisa Jensen. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it came out around my birthday, so I feel like this is a birthday present for me. But it's a of course, it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and that's all I need to know. Plus, I love the cover, and I know I've heard one of my BookTube friends didn't enjoy it, so that kind of worries a bit, but I'm still excited to read it, and hopefully it won't be a disappointment for me. The next book I got is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I love the Lunar Chronicles by her, and I definitely want to read more books by Marissa Meyer, and this is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, but it's about the Queen of Hearts, and I'm just really excited for this because I've talked about how Marissa Meyer is becoming one of my favorite authors, and I just love her writing style, and I love how she brings her characters to life, and I'm definitely excited to read Heartless when I'm done with the Lunar Chronicles. The next book that I got is Story Thieves by James Riley. From what I can tell from the book, it's about this boy who's writing his own book series and then something happens. What grabbed my attention is just the title of the book because it relates to writing and reading, and I just thought it'll be a cute middle grade read, especially when the title just grabs my attention. Plus, I really like the cover. It looks really awesome. So I'm really excited to read this. The next book that I got is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. The reason I got this book is because one of the items from the March Owl crates has an art print that's inspired by Red Rising, and all I know is it's about this world where they group people by color and then something happens. I really don't know the plot. The back doesn't say much of a plot. Let me know in the comments down below what this book's about, but I'm definitely excited about it. Plus, I've also heard good things about the series, so hopefully it'll be a good read for me. The next book that I got is Fox by Nadine Brandes. I can't pronounce her last name. Let me know in the comments down below so I can say it correctly. But all I know is about this boy who's been everybody in this world is turning into stone, and he has to find a cure before everybody's stoned permanently. And this takes place in the 1700s in England. And I've read a book that's historical fiction, but it's also fantasy, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't a good read. But I'm really excited about this one because it takes place in London, and that's one of the places that I've always wanted to go to. Plus, this cover grabbed my attention because of the masquerade masks. I've always been fascinated by masquerade masks all my life, but I don't know why. But I'm really excited to read this. Plus, after reading the plot and everything, just really grabs my attention. Plus, the cover is really beautiful. The next book that I got is The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross, and this is one of the books that I got for my birthday, so thanks Mom and Dad for giving me this book. From what I can tell, this book's about this girl who is a queen, and they pick their, what their powers would be. I'm not quite sure, but all I know is the cover is really beautiful, and I'm really excited to read it. And from one of the taglines of the book says, he chose betrayal, and she chose vengeance. Dun, dun, dun. And I just I'm excited about this book because it's a fantasy. I mean, I've been reading a lot of fantasy this year. I really need to read other genres, but I'm still excited to read this. The next book that I got is Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. It's about this girl whose mother died right in front of her because she was labeled as the Fire Queen, and then she's a prisoner, and I forgot what else the synopsis said, but I'm excited about this book. Plus, the cover is really beautiful, and it's on a best-selling list, which it's a good thing. So I'm guessing it's a good series because, I mean, it's also a fantasy, and I've been wanting to read it. Plus, the plot grabbed my interest, and the author is following me on Twitter, so I'm like, yay, I got her book, so I can give her support, and hopefully I'll end up liking it because I just love how authors follow me, so I'll be like, oh, I'll get their book so I can be supportive of them. So I'm excited to read this book. Hopefully it'll be a good read for me. The next book that I got is Illuminated by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. All I know is a sci-fi book, a sci-fi series, and it takes place in space, obviously. And from what I can tell from the book, it's told in emails and text messages, and that's a really unique format. And I'm gonna be listening to this on audiobook once I get to this. And plus, I got this book because I got another item from March Owl Crate that's inspired, and I'm like, I need to read the book because I don't know anything about. So I'm happy that I got my copy. Plus, I'm really excited to read because I've been wanting to read more sci-fi since I've read a lot of sci-fi this year. So yeah. The next book that I got is The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green. Sorry about that. And the reason I got this book is because I saw this article that says if you like Harry Potter, these newly releases would be a perfect read for Harry Potter fans. And I've heard this is also like Game of Thrones, which I have not read or seen the TV show, but it really grabbed my interest, and I'm excited to read it. I know I said it's in a lot of the books, but I'm just excited to read these books once I get to them. And the last book that I got, or one of the last books that I physically have with me, is The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. I've heard good things about this series, especially when Reagan from Peruse Project talked so many good things about this series that I'm like, I should give it a try. And it's about this girl or guy, I'm not quite sure, it's named Jen, and he's like the best thief in the kingdom, and then they hire him to steal something. I'm not quite sure, but the story really grabbed my interest. Plus, I really like the cover. It's really cool, so I'm definitely excited to read it, and hopefully I'll like it. The next two books, I don't have a physical copy with me, but they're coming in the mail, so I thought, why not mention them, because they're pre-orders and I'm not going to show them in the next book haul. But the first one is Wicked Like Wildfire by Lana Pokovich. I think that's how you pronounce the last name, but all I know is it's one of the books that is fancy. I think it deals with witches. I'm not quite sure, but all I know is it has a theme of family, and I love reading books that's about family because family means a lot to me. Like, my family means a lot to me, and this story grabbed my interest, plus it has a gorgeous cover. And the last book that is in my pre-order is Sea Witch by Sarah Henning, and this is a retelling of The Little Mermaid, but it's told by the Sea Witch's point of view. I'm really excited about this book, especially when it's a group book for the Fairy Tale-a-thon, and I'm co-hosting that readathon with other lovely ladies on BookTube that I'm teaming up with, which I'll link the announcement video that I have down below and in the corner somewhere. I'm not quite sure, but I'm really excited to read Sea Witch because that's one of my most anticipated releases of this year, and I know I mentioned one of the books in this book haul that's also one of my most anticipated releases, but I'm really excited about reading this book, especially it's on my top anticipated releases of the summer, and I'm just really excited to read it and all the other books that I have in this book haul. So that is all for my summer/birthday book haul, and it's a summer book haul part 2. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and comment down below what some of these books I should put on top of my TBR. Just because I don't know what books I should read on top of my TBR, because once I've watched everybody's video for the freak out the mid-year freak out tag, they listed all the books, and I usually write them down, but there's just so many books that I need to get through, especially when they're over 100. Whoops. So I really need to figure out what books should be my top priority and which one is not. And if you want to follow me on social media, I have Facebook under Lost Reader, and I have Twitter and Instagram on LostReader19. I also have Goodreads, which I'll link down below. And if you don't want to miss any of my new videos, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!